How is this possible? Oh, thanks, Gabe. It's oh.
Hmm.
Well,
That reminds me.
hold on. Oh, shut up. There we go. Can you hear
Good.
me now? Hello? Vic, hi.
Hi.
Well, we were just talking about how 9 is too early. And that's why.
And coincidentally,
That's why. I forget to do things like put the USB plug in.
that happens.
Sorry,
that
guys.
happens.
We
Anyway.
probably got a bunch of comments.
We do?
Hopefully, all about your pink shirt.
Oh, do you like my
got-
pink shirt? Real
yeah.
men wear pink, you know.
It
Sure.
looks great.
It's absolutely true.
Oh, tough crowd, yeah.
I think it matches your skin tone. It brings out the red in your eyes.
My eyes red?
No, mine are. It's too
Open
early.
bake. All right, good morning. Before we get to everything we just said we are going to get to, I want to talk about something very quickly. And it's the difference, especially when you're married. Because when you're married, you have communication that's not necessarily verbal, you know, like not words at least.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if you're doing something, laundry or doing something productive in the house, and your partner is not doing it, so you can probably imagine which role I play in that scenario at my house. When you're doing the things, there's a noise you have to make your partner know that you're doing something,
Oh.
right?
Okay.
And that noise is,
You're not wrong
right.
whatsoever.
Is that also the noise when you pick up a sock that shouldn't be on
Anything.
the floor?
Hey,
Okay,
pick up
yes.
even if you're putting the, wiping the table, and I'm like, maybe I can make believe I'm asleep. That never works. And then
That's gotta make it worse.
when I make believe I'm asleep,
Yeah.
of course it does.
He's just over there pretending to be asleep.
I see your eyes.
I don't do that. And then the other thing is, there's a distinct difference between huh and hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes,
Do you
that's
agree?
True.
Sure.
Huh is more like you just learned something. It's an
Like,
enlightening
I did
sound.
not know that.
Right, exactly.
Huh.
If you hear something interesting, you go, huh. But then if it's something that pisses you off, you go, interesting.
Yeah, that's sort of got a kind of vibe to it.
Kinda.
It's more than kinda. Usually my is I already know the answer to my question, and that's not
Exactly.
the real answer.
Exactly.
So you wanna take it back? I usually get about 3 seconds in my house to
That's so
correct your
funny.
statement.
I like to say duly noted.
Yes.
That's
That's
a
when
favorite
you're
also.
mad, or
Just when someone tells you something that
that pisses you off, or if
kind of
something like,
pisses you off. You
Yeah.
already
is your
knew.
duly noted a huh or a hmm?
It's a
Oh, okay.
Duly
Boy,
noted.
she makes a good face, doesn't she?
She does.
If she,
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got all kinds of resting bee faces.
Same.
Not just resting, just the general face.
no, I don't think that's true. I do worry about you, though. I want to tell you. Sometimes when I walk in, you look like you don't want to be talked to, and I know that we have to talk.
I know, Vic's always asking me the question I hate the most. Are you okay?
Why do you hate that
It's
question?
the worst question.
It's the worst question.
It is, especially for women, it is one of the worst questions to be asked.
Are you okay? Are you mad is probably the worst. But then, are you okay? It's just like, what's wrong? Do I not look okay?
I feel like they're
What
all
el-
in
Did
this.
I not put enough eyeliner on?
I would not ask if I didn't think you didn't look okay.
But those two questions are in the same realm of the other one. You look tired. Are you tired?
That one's the
All
worst.
three of those
I know.
questions are the same in my book.
I don't use the third one. I would just like to
Of
say.
course I'm tired. I'm out of my bed. I'm doing stuff.
And it's 9 o'clock in the morning.
It's 9 in the morning. 9 sounds like a reasonable hour, but if you figure that before 9 is 8 o'clock, that is very early.
Yeah.
So I wake up at like 5:30 in the morning
Why?
On purpose?
because I have 7 children.
Oh, she has 7 children.
What time do the children get up?
They get up at 6, but whoever gets up with the dog gets up at 5:30.
What time do they go to bed?
9?
That's a long day for a kid. What are they doing at 6? Do they have paper routes? Are they mowing
So we're-
lawns next door?
So school starts next week.
And school starts ridiculously early.
And with 7 of them getting up, having to eat breakfast, take shower,
Find your socks.
like, I mean, they're at home, but I still need them to take showers, and I make some of them take showers before I leave, so I know that it's getting done, or else my house smells when I come home.
Sure. So are your kids currently going back to school digitally?
Yeah, there's no other way right now for our district.
Oh, so it's not the most wonderful time of the year.
No.
Well, you still get to go buy pencils and those little cases. and
No, for the
zippers.
parents.
No?
My school's giving supplies for whatever projects they need.
Well, okay, how about at least one new Lisa Frank folder this year, Mom?
What folder?
Lisa Frank.
Oh, God.
What?
Rick doesn't know
I
anything
feel
about
so
Lisa
unhip.
Frank. Okay, you went to grade school, right?
Yeah?
And you had little loose papers, and you had to put them in some kind of folder, right?
Yeah.
To keep yourself organized. What did your folder look like?
Beige.
It was just brown.
Well, Lisa Frank took that brown folder and turned it upside down by creating this massive, just vast series of color pop, crazy folders and other things. But she really concentrated in the folders and the
Binders, all the binders.
Binders and trapper keepers, but they were like unicorns and jelly beans and rainbows and
But with my color scheme.
yeah, pretty
Like
much
this as a cat was my
What?
5th grade binder.
What kind of folders are we talking
just
about?
like kids' folders for school.
I'm not sure I had folders.
What did you just keep everything shoved into one napkin?
Not mad.
Or did you didn't even take notes? Just
Um,
threw it away, wrote it down, and
I was not the greatest student, I will admit. I was not the greatest student. I was not the worst student.
I took copious notes, and then I went back home and I typed them up, and then I put holes in them and I kept them all in a binder, and then I never looked at them again. The sheer act of writing and then typing helped me memorize, and I was an A student. That's a hot tip, kids.
You were an A student
It was
all the way?
except for French. Got a fast
I did
C
take
in that
Spanish. Believe it or not, when I was in 7th grade, and you're not going to believe this, but I was in the smart class.
Huh.
To take a foreign language,
Yeah.
you know. So I said to my father, because Italian was one of the languages you could take. So I said to my father, "Can I take Italian?" He said, "No, because Spanish is going to be the second language in this country." He was right.
Yeah.
Didn't do me any good. If I took Italian for all the years I took Spanish, I would be fluent in Italian because I was surrounded by Italians living in New Jersey.
They're very similar.
Except Italian's much more beautiful.
Sure.
Not to
The
not to
Romance
offend anybody
language.
who speaks Spanish.
I took Latin, then French, then Spanish, and then Italian. And I barely speak English.
We are so not on the same intelligence level, just so you know. We probably should have talked about this before we started a podcast together.
Don't worry, I've lost
You
a
are
lot.
so over my head.
I've lost a lot of brain cells since then.
I can basically my only other language is I can tell when my grandparents were yelling at me and cursing at me in German, and that's about it.
They're mad.
So I took Spanish in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 1 year in college. I took 7 years of Spanish. And when I was in college, the exam and final exam and all that stuff was not written at all. You had to go meet the teacher,
And
make an appointment with him, and just talk in that language, in Spanish. And I did pretty good. And then ironically, I worked at a Spanish-speaking radio station. When I
Right,
was,
say the Goya line.
Oh, si es Goya, tiene que ser bueno.
Have you actually told that story on there?
I can tell it now if you
Will
like.
you please? Because it's so great.
Okay.
This is for your first job
My first job where I got
in
paid.
the radio
where I got paid.
industry.
Right,
And you're working for a Spanish station. You've
Right.
got all these years of Spanish under your belt.
right.
So you're pretty much...
No, I was not fluent.
All right,
See,
tell us what
here's the
happened.
problem. If I had taken Italian, I would have went to my grandmother's house, or I would have went to my aunt's house. I have 2 aunts who speak. My one aunt spoke 5 different languages. And they were both teachers. My Aunt Tulia, my Aunt Alba. They were both foreign language teachers. I'll get to the story in just a second. But one thing that bugs me a little bit is that when my mother's sister, Aunt Alba was her name. They had really weird names.
It's not that.
Well, it's the Italian thing. She had Alzheimer's, really, really bad.
We're gonna bring up an Alzheimer's Association later today. So
Yeah.
That's a good segue.
I went to go visit her, and I would say, I'm Victor. Victor. She'd go, Victor. I said, I'm Ernestine's son. Ernestine's son. Like, she would repeat everything I'm saying, but nothing's happening. You can just tell that nothing is happening and nothing is sinking in. So I was there for a little while, and then, unfortunately, right before I had to go, I saw a cookbook called La Cucina Italiana, was the name of the book. And I was like, let's see if this works. I said, what's this? I said, what's this say? She said, La Cucina Italiana. I said, what's that mean? She goes, my Italian kitchen. I was like, oh my God. So I tried to think of every Italian phrase. I said, ti voglio bene. What's that mean? She said, I love you. Ti voglio bene assai. She said, I love you very much. And I wish I knew more. Matter of fact, Money Heist,
Yes.
the song Bella Ciao,
Bella Ciao, yes.
never heard of that song until I watched Money Heist.
Really?
60-year-old Italian, never heard the song Bella Ciao, it was a anti-fascist song
it was like
in the 40s. It's like 75 years old.
Yeah, a theme song of like working class independence.
Well, more than that, it was the fight against Mussolini.
Yeah.
That's where it started, because the
Independence.
partisanos, would fight against Mussolini and the fascists, and they made the song Bella Ciao. And I never heard of the song. Then, of course, I become obsessed with the song, watching Money Heist, and now I know the entire song in Italian, and I'm mad at everybody in my family that never told me about that song.
Right?
My two aunts especially, because I could have sang that to her that day that I was with her. And I bet you she would have sang right along. I bet you everything would have clicked. Alzheimer's terrible.
I was not aware of that song until you told me about it.
Why would you?
And I was like,
Why would you?
And we had a lot of Sazitza.
And what?
Never once had any Bella Ciao.
Never heard of it until Money Heist. And then, funny enough, the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Italy under Mussolini just happened. It was weird. I got finished with Money Heist, and then that happened on TV. It was like the 75th anniversary of the liberation, and this reporter is in Italy, and she's like, yeah, and they're singing their favorite song, Bella Ciao, and I was like, oh my God, it's like, why is this all of a sudden coming, So, does anybody remember where I started this story from?
You're going to tell us the Goya.
Oh, yeah. So I don't speak very good Italian, just like the curse words, and I can have a very, very elementary conversation. But I did take 7 years of Spanish, and then my first job, as Jen mentioned, that I got paid for in radio was being a board operator for a Spanish-speaking radio station in New York. And by the way, it wasn't actually in New York. It was in Carteret, New Jersey, which is very close to the Hudson River. And are you going to play it?
Can we?
Yeah.
Don't stop your story.
Oh.
Oh, God.
The station was right along the back stretch of the Meadowlands Racetrack. Meadowlands Racetrack was in Carteret, New Jersey, I guess it was, but it was a Spanish-speaking station, and its license was in New York, so it was considered a New York radio station, and it was at 1380 a.m. and their format was salsa merengue, so it was kind of like salsa music and merengue music combined, and it was this crazy dancing stuff. It was fun. Precio 80, salsa merengue. And everything obviously is in Spanish. So how did that work, you're asking? How did you work at a Spanish, and you don't speak a lot of Spanish? Well, these guys would come to America from other countries with a beautiful voice. Nelson Rodriguez was the morning guy, and he had a great voice, but he didn't know how to run the board. So he was a little red light bulb in front of him, and when I turned his mic on, the red light bulb would go on, and he'd go, oh, buenos dias, and that was it. But also, and there was no, the language barrier wasn't a problem because if we were going to go to commercials, we'd go like this. That meant go into commercials after he was done talking. Or if he was talking about...
C.
That's a C for commercial. Or this meant we're going to play records. That's the record spinning, I would imagine.
Wrap it up.
Well, no, I think this is kind of wrap it up.
Okay, this is...
Now, if you want to get into international hand signals, my wife and I are very versed in international hand signals. And you have to be very careful, okay? Because...
That means give me a smoke.
Right.
That means cut it out.
Do you have the scissors?
Oh.
So don't be sure if you want to smoke, you don't go like this because somebody will hand you a scissors instead of a cigarette.
If I had a dime for every time I was in a foreign country, needed a pair of scissors, and didn't know how to ask.
Like that. How many times you in foreign countries?
Never. Never one time.
You never know.
All right, so Goya, you're at the light bulb is red.
So, so I would run the board for them, and then you would also have to do production, which meant so there's these vehicles that play audio. They were called carts.
Yeah.
Okay. If anyone is old enough to remember 8-track tapes, they looked like 8-track tapes, but were nothing like 8-track tapes. But at least the concept was right.
Push in.
So there was like maybe 30 seconds, 60 seconds of tape inside these carts. And by the way, I got proficient at taking one of those apart and fixing them and put it back together again. So you had to take the commercials that were on reel-to-reel, right? Do what we say, cue it up.
Yep.
And then the cart machine was here. And then you had to hit record on the cart machine and play on the reel-to-reel. And then it would go. So one time, and Goya Foods was in the news not too long ago.
Yes.
And it's a very popular Latino food.
Well, they have a lot of quality products, actually. If
Yeah.
you're going to make beans or tacos, if you go with the Goya stuff.
Absolutely,
you can't go wrong.
absolutely. Goya beans, absolutely. So, all right, so now I have to take this back just a little further.
Does anybody need more coffee while I'm up?
Hold on. I'm just...
Gosh, thanks for interrupting our story, Jim.
No, I messaged him. Don't get mad at him. So going back to when I was like in middle school and even into high school, we used to watch professional wrestling on TV. But professional wrestling, okay, I'm sorry. I need to explain this a little bit further. When I was young, all we had was channel 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, and 13. So we had, and by the way, we had to get up off the couch and go like that to change the channel. And then there was something called UHF, and they had UHF channels that were like higher. 31 played a lot of high school basketball. Channel 47 was a Spanish station. It was Canal 47, el canal de los grandes espectáculos. And we would watch wrestling, for some reason was on that channel, in English.
Yeah.
But everything else, like the commercials and everything, were in Spanish. And there were Goya commercials. Hold on. Somebody say something. Just take me 1 second.
Go. And scene.
I mean,
Okay.
we're going to be on wrestling.
So the commercials were in Spanish, and there was commercials for Goya food products and Goya beans.
Yes.
And the end of every single Goya commercial, this guy with a golden voice at the very end would say, "Si es Goya, tiene que ser bueno." Just like that, by the way. I nail his voice. And so I heard this commercial 1,000 million times watching wrestling. Now I'm in the radio station, and I'm putting the Goya commercials from the reel-to-reel tape onto the cart, and I accidentally hit the record button on the reel-to-reel machine, and I erased part of the tag at the end. We call that a tag at the end. So it said, "Si es good." And I was like, oh my God. It was like my second day there. And I was like, I didn't want to tell, like when you're new, you don't even want to tell anybody you did something wrong. You want to try to figure out a solution, I said, what am I going to do? So I hit the record button. I said, "Si es Goya, tiene que ser bueno." And I spliced it together with the actual commercial, put it on the cart. It played on the air for like 3 weeks, and nobody knew.
That's hilarious.
And that's where my education in foreign language.
It all culminated to that one save.
All got me one save.
You might have been fired after that and then never gone on.
Probably. I don't know about fired, but I would have got hollered at.
You would have gotten in trouble.
I would have got
Put
hollered
on a
at.
different task.
It would have been more than, huh.
What was that again, that topic?
You get that, right?
Oh, so last night I got on a complete worm tunnel of 12-inch remixes.
Is this because of our discussion about disco music yesterday?
Yes.
So what'd you find?
Well, I found the Miss You. I'm pretty sure I found the original 12-inch on YouTube.
Does it have, don't tell me, does it have something about gold on the other side? The B side is...
Well, it's a YouTube track, so there was no other side.
Oh, I thought you actually found... Okay, I got it.
Well, how would I have pulled that off?
Vintage vinyl. If you really were dedicated to the show.
I mean, yeah, I would have had to...
I'm kidding.
I'll Google it.
So did you like the disco version?
I loved it. I was up very much too late because I just went on a tangent of like trying to find all of the
I do
disco.
that.
There's so many, and I originally went to YouTube first because I didn't think Spotify was that cool. But if you look up 12-inch remixes on Spotify, you get a lot.
Oh.
So.
By who?
You guys are bored? Just buy everything. Buy everything. The 80s did it. Like, people did not stop doing it in the 70s.
Blondie Rapture?
All of that. There's so much.
I think Rapture by Blondie has a 12-inch.
Like, I need to have a 12-inch party.
12-inch disco remix
We'll
party.
have subs.
Yes.
We'll get a record player.
Put on, what kind of pants? What are they called? Parachute pants? Which I'm not going to do. That's great. That's awesome that you found that kind of stuff because that was our lives back then. You know, especially the disco era was
so
a
much
12-inch.
better. Like, don't stop dancing.
Right.
What I love about records too is that moment of silence that happens when the record's ending and it's over and like the music stops, but it doesn't flip itself over. So there's like that cadence where you're like, oh,
right,
it's
time to flip the record.
Right.
And then you get to like manually turn it over.
And every once in a while, that silence didn't necessarily mean the end of the album. For instance, on Abbey Road.
Oh yeah, it would. There was like a gap in between.
In between what?
The last track.
Yeah, and what is the last track? Do you know?
I don't know.
It's a 17-second song called Her Majesty. The entire song is Her Majesty's a pretty nice girl, but she doesn't have a lot to say. Her Majesty's a pretty nice girl, but she changes from day to day. I want to tell her that I love her a lot, but I got to get a belly full of wine. Her Majesty's a pretty nice girl. Someday I'm going to make her mine. Oh, yeah. Today I'm going to make her mine. And then it ends.
Wow.
17 seconds, and it's like almost a minute after the end of the end. The song, the end. Yeah.
The rewards you get for waiting.
And experimenting and exploring.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a lot of fun. They used to do that with CDs too. There'd be like 100 tracks on it. I can't remember who did this, but then it was like the actual music ended at 17, but then you would have to let it skip through like 99 tracks, and then there'd be some crazy song.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same concept.
Kind of annoying though.
Kind of annoying.
You know,
I
it's
mean,
it's a little different.
For listenability, say you're on a road trip.
Because the thing about the record
You can just pick it up.
And you could see at least.
Yeah.
Like a CD, you don't know what's going on in there.
That's true.
You know what I mean? But the needle on the record, you could see that it's toward the end, but no, wait, not
But
really.
There's a little bit more.
There's a little bit more. If we let it go, something might happen right there.
Yeah.
So what were you looking for? I forgot. You were looking for something.
Oh,
and then
ciao,
we got-
Bella.
Oh, Bella Ciao.
Let's switch
Are you gonna
to
play
our
it?
share screen. I think we can play a moment of this song if no one's heard it.
Oh, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato l'invaso. Oh, partigiano, portami via.
Bella Ciao, everyone. Be educated. There's also a lot of remixes of this song.
Of Bella Ciao, yeah.
Yeah, some pretty big.
There's some like
what do you call them?
hard style
DJs?
versions of it.
It's like a trap remix of this song.
Trapped?
You know what trap is?
Oh God.
It's noise.
Sometimes you can
It's
make
noise.
me feel
That's
so
an accurate
old.
description.
There's a couple of hard style versions though. If
Yeah.
you go back to the list there. Is there a list?
I don't know. I would have to.
Bella ciao,
I don't
bella
have
ciao, bella
smooth
ciao,
internet.
ciao, ciao. Oh, Partizano.
You gotta type in like Bella Ciao remix or something.
There you go. What you just had?
I can't. I'm moving too fast.
You went to it. All right. So the third one down
There's
is kind of cool.
Steve Aoki. Yeah, he does it. It's like a techno.
It's kind of cool.
I'm losing words here.
And it's really cool because they just let people, I guess, do their own little Bella Ciao dance and then would put them in the video. Wow, we are running out of time here. We need to get to the Quarantine Radio Theater.
Late.
Oh, we did. Okay, so it's like really only 9:30.
We're very excited because we interviewed a band called Decades Apart, and they're awesome. And we're gonna air that interview on Monday.
Yeah, they were really good people. I like them.
Yeah, they
I
were
like every
super
one of them.
cool.
I had so many great memories with them.
Wait, you know them?
Yeah, I used to bartend at a bar that they would play at pretty frequently. I would get up and sing with them, and would just hang out. Then I started kind of going to other bars once the one I worked at was closed down.
Yeah, they really good people, and they had a song that Jen sent me. I wish I could have heard more before we talked to them, but it was called "One More Night," I think.
I believe so, and we're gonna play that song Monday.
Yeah, and I was listening to it, and you hear the Chuck Berry kind of riff going on immediately, but it's a little fast and a little like almost kind of Stevie Ray Vaughan, "The House is Rockin', Don't Bother Knockin'" in it, and then the vocals sound like it could be the Clash, you know?
Yeah.
Or Reckless Eric or something like that.
You have a good ear for that. You were like, it's this and this and this, and they're like, yeah.
I was pretty close.
How did you know?
The only difference was they in their heads they were more Ramones than they were the Clash. And if the song were faster, I would have said the Ramones, because the Ramones are very,
Well, I could speed it up 80%.
Yeah, but then you're cheating. That's cheating them. They did it that way. So anyway, they're really good people. We're going to talk to them about some gigs they have coming up and stuff.
And they suggested that we check out Quarantine Theater, which I did. And you can just find them on Facebook, Quarantine Radio Theater.
Yeah.
They do a really cool job putting together these 45-minute stories with sound effects and different characters, and I kept switching back to it to see what was going on, but there's no video.
Right.
But I wanted to look.
It's kind of like Nathan's thing. Remember Nathan, the guy who put the axe on my chest?
Yeah.
He's doing the same thing. We put his link up. You put his link up for me on our page, and his is always scary though. Where Quarantine Radio Theater is not necessarily horror.
Yeah, it was more of like a mystery, sort of creepy.
Right. But I love the idea because here's the thing, okay? Like everything else in the world and in life, theater shut down, you know?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Every year there is a award show for community theater, and it's called the Arts for Life Best Performance Awards. And I hosted it for like 8 years in a row, and then I guess they got sick of me and dumped me, and somebody else does it now.
Bullshit.
It was heartbreaking, to be
I'm
honest.
going to the next award and just say, bring back Vic.
Yes,
I'll
yes.
have a big sign in the back.
So this year, they didn't have it, obviously, you know? And of course, as it turns out, Mia was in one of the plays. When your play is nominated for Best Play, you get to do a number from the play at the show, which is really kind of cool and fun, you know?
Yeah.
And so she didn't get to go perform, but they did it virtually.
Right.
You know, so
Did she
whatever.
get to do did she get in a little box?
Yeah.
And she did her.
With all the other boxes, like the
Yeah.
Brady Bunch, yeah.
Just
I'm always waiting for one of those, like a Senate congressional hearing.
passing down toys to each other or something.
So because it was shut down, theater world was shut down, and there are no plays, there are no auditions, they started this Quarantine Radio Theater. And I think it's just incredibly creative, incredibly smart to keep your skills up, because you're not doing anything. At least if you're acting with your voice, you're still acting. And is that me?
It's me, sorry.
Shame on you.
We had some comments.
I meant to say, So the Quarantine Radio Theater, that's exactly what it's called. There's 1 million quarantine theaters on Facebook, so you have to find at Quarantine Radio Theater Theatrical Productions on Facebook and check them out. And they agreed to come on the show.
Yeah, we were going to be talking to them sometime this weekend, and I have questions. So how do
I audition?
How do you get involved? Yeah, can we get Vic on this?
Well, you too.
Is there a mobster?
Oh, God.
Is there a mobster scene
I hope
to
so.
get you on?
Can you write? Can you guys quarantine read? Can you write like a mafia little 45-minute thing? Let me be like the Don. Because I want to play. I want to play. I have played some bad guys like that.
Yeah, we have some. We had footage of that.
Of what?
Do you think that your smoking habit leads you into more criminal-minded roles?
Yes and no. I mean, honestly, the criminal kind of roles I've played have been more in film than
On stage.
On stage, yeah. Like on stage, I was, I get pigeonholed into all the narrator crap.
Right.
You know
That's
what I mean?
true. You are that guy in the suit at the podium. So
That was Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to tell the story. If I could tell it just really quickly, when we did Rocky Horror, we did it at Faust Park in the Carousel House, and it's not a big space, It's like the birthday party room at the Carousel House, and our dressing room was all the way in the back, so the actors had to go in the back and around like this. Took a long time to get there. It took a long time to get back. So, are you guys familiar with?
Nothing. Go on.
What?
I just have I was going to try to pull up Falls Park, but I couldn't go fast enough.
Well, that's okay. The story's a long story.
Keep going.
So, are you guys familiar with Rocky Horror?
Yes.
Yes.
So, Damn It, Janet. After Damn It, Janet, Damn It, Janet had the backup singers, Damn It, Janet, I love you. And then the same people, because, this is community theater. Everybody's got to play double roles, So the people that were like the dancers and the backup singers for Damn It, Janet were also the phantoms for There's a Light at the Frankenstein Place, which was the next number, right? So the guy who was directing it says to me, so we need some time because the actors have to get all the way through the space and then around and into the dressing room and change from the backup singers into the phantom outfits. Can you ad-lib for like maybe 5 minutes in between? I said, no problem. So it wasn't too long after, do you remember the Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction thing? It was very close after that. So we talked about, and the show is, you've seen it, right?
Rocky Horror?
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Of course.
So, I love that, of course.
Of course.
You're an idiot if you
I've never been to the live thing.
Oh, so much fun.
But my sister gets into that.
My wife used to go see it at the 8th Street Playhouse in Greenwich Village in New York.
That's cool.
Dressed up and
That's
everything.
street
yeah.
cred.
That's street cred, right? I got that. Did see the old man get the street cred reference?
Your wife got the street cred. You get a little bit. You get like a sidewalk cred just for being married to her.
Okay, yes, thank God for that. So,
give you some chalk.
I had to do some ad-libbing in between, and we talked about indecency because they said the show. If you're not good with indecency, maybe you should leave now. Because the show's a little indecent. And so he also told me. He said, I want you to find every night. I want you to find a woman, preferably in the front row, that is particularly enjoying the dirty jokes and stuff, and pick on her all night. I said, absolutely.
Got it, dude.
Got it. So, I'd find the woman in the front. Let's say her name was Carol. I think actually one of them was Carol. Carol sitting in the front row. And I would say things like, Brad and Janet both experienced sexual indiscretions. And I would go, Carol, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like I would pick on her the whole night. And then there's one line when the narrator says, both Brad and Janet tasted forbidden fruit. And then every night I would have an apple in my pocket of the coat jacket. I'd pull it out, and I would just start eating the apple and literally just fade. Like it was like awkwardly long. No. But I would just hold it and bite it, and then I would say to Carol, I'd say, Carol, do you want some fruit? And she'd be like, no. And I'd be like, no, of course, because it's not the forbidden variety. And then I would pull a banana out of the inside pocket. I got one girl out of 6 performances to actually come up and take the banana.
Oh, my God. How many fruit flies?
We throw it out right away. I don't know. What a question to ask.
Hovering around.
Do you have a fruit fly problem in the theater? Because I'm allergic to fruit flies. So anyway, that's my narrator story. But I like playing mobsters because hey, I'm from New Jersey, and many people think if you're Italian and you're from New Jersey, you're automatically in the mafia. You know that, right?
Of course.
My daughter, after she graduated high school, we were sitting at the kitchen table one night, And she says, Daddy, I meant to tell you this. Half the kids in my class think you're in the mafia. And I said, well, what did you tell them? She goes, well, my friends. I said, no. But the people I didn't like, I said, yeah, he is. And then Mia was like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. And I'm like, what? So my daughter Mia was the one that every day forgot her notebook or forgot her lunch money. I felt like 3 days a week I was at the school bringing her whatever she forgot. So one day she forgot something, and I'm walking into the school. And Parkway South has the student centers down here, and then there's like an atrium up here where you can look down and see people walk in. Well, my daughter and her friend just happened to be standing on the atrium just as I was walking to school. And granted, I had a long black coat on, and I had black pants and a black shirt, I think I had sunglasses on. So I walk in.
Carrying a sawed-off shotgun.
No sawed-off shotgun. But my daughter's friend says to her, oh my God, Mia, is your dad in the mafia? So Mia says, there is no mafia, which is exactly what a mafia daughter would say. So apparently, people think that Italian people from New Jersey are in the mafia. And I will tell you guys that I came this close to that.
To being in the mafia?
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a entrance exam, or how do you even get into the mafia?
Clearly no IQ exam, right? We know that. I was working at a pizzeria.
Of course, okay.
Making
Step
sandwiches.
one. How do you get in the mafia in New Jersey?
Making sandwiches.
Write this down.
And one day, Fat Gene.
That checks out.
What?
That checks out.
Yeah, right. Is sitting across from me. I'm making sandwiches. And he says, why don't you come work for me? And I'm like, oh, I already work for you. And he's like, no, not here. Come work for me. You'll never need money, And then it hit me. And I was like, no, I don't think so. So I didn't. Turns out that was Fat Gene Campisi from the Campisi crime family. He was a capo in the Campisi crime family, recruiting me to be in the mafia. Had I said yes, I'd be in jail or dead right now.
Oh my God. You need to make like a book where it's the timelines of your life had you made different decisions.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah, the AU Vic Porcelli story.
Yeah,
What's
if you
AU?
said yes?
Alternate universe.
Oh.
Yeah, what if you had said yes? What if you didn't fix the Goya tape?
What if you didn't take the job because you got free pizza out of it?
Right. Boy, things would have been different, right?
They would have been different.
Yeah. There was a movie. Gwyneth Paltrow was in a movie.
Yeah,
lots of
is
them.
she an actor?
It's just what you guys were talking about, though. I forget. There's a train involved, and the doors open, and she could go one way or she can go another way, and it seemed like an alternate universe, which I didn't know was AU was the hip way to say that.
I did not
I'm
know.
a cool kid.
I didn't know that either.
But
I spent a lot of time at conventions.
Okay.
I can't remember. I
So
can't remember what it
much
was
to
called.
get out. Alternate universe. Let's shorten
Trading-
this up.
God, I can't remember. Anyway.
I think the only Gwyneth Paltrow movie I can possibly think of at this moment is the one with Jack Black where she's really heavy.
Shallow Hal.
Yes, and he can only see her as the beautiful that she is, when she's actually this giant woman.
Right.
But he falls in love with her anyway.
Right.
That's the only movie that I know. I know she makes yoga pants.
She also was in all of the Iron Man movies.
Oh yeah, as like the.
She was Pepper Potts.
She was the Penny Lane character.
Pepper Potts.
There we go.
Pepper Potts. That sounds like a Batman character. Oh, it's Cobblepot.
That was Cobblepot, yeah.
What's his first name?
Oswald.
Oswald Cobblepot.
See, okay, now I have something to talk about, guys. Let's keep on this.
Iron Man. What's that guy's name?
What guy?
The head guy. The guy in the
Bruce
suit.
Wayne?
No. The
Batman?
Iron Man guy.
Iron Man?
Oh,
Who
his name
plays
is your
Iron Man?
dog.
Who plays Iron Man? It's
Alan Starr. No, that was close, right?
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark.
Played by Robert Downey Jr.
There we go.
You're breaking my husband's heart right now.
Sorry, Rick. Sorry.
Hey,
Get off the ledge, Rick. Come back in the house. Come back in the house.
I'm sorry.
So,
So speaking of not being able to remember anything, there is an awesome event going on later this month. I think it's on August 29th. If you have a bike, you don't even actually have to have a bike, but you can go down and social distance from all these awesome...
is this a bike with a motor on it or just a pedal bike?
these are motorcycle bikes.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm going to try to get Jim down there on his Harley and see if we can't take some footage. But it is the unforgettable ride to benefit the Alzheimer's Association.
Okay, I love this event already. First of all, bikers are always helping somebody somewhere.
Babies.
Yes.
Old people.
I saw a bunch of bikers
Puppies.
in a parking lot one Saturday on Manchester Road, and there's a ton of them. I said, I got to find out. So I pulled in, and I was like, hey, what's going on? What are you guys doing? Oh, it's bikers for babies. You know what? Bless your heart, guys. You guys are awesome.
Of course you are.
And Alzheimer's, I mean, obviously, you know.
Yeah, so their mission, they have a raffle every year, and it raises money for the Alzheimer's Association. And it starts in St. Charles at the Harley Davidson store. This is last year's date, but I believe this year it's August 29th. So...
It starts in St. Charles and goes to where?
I'm not prepared for
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Why are you asking questions?
Headed
She
out
doesn't know the
Highway
details.
70 to the Renaissance Winery
There you go.
for their
First stop, and then they keep
you
going.
can ride and visit anywhere you want for a few hours. I wonder if I showed up on foot, if I could find a bike to hitchhike on.
I'm
Probably.
sure.
Time me on that. How long? I'll just stand out there like, I need a ride.
I think that works. Especially when you're a female, I believe that works.
I don't know if I still got it. But we'll give it a shot.
Be very Sandy from Greece.
Which one, though?
I
The
would,
early Sandy or the late Sandy?
The late.
The late
where
Sandy.
she's got to
Yeah,
dress
I'll
up
have
and,
to
In the
dig
leather
and
out,
show up
thing.
and be like, okay, I'm ready to be a part of this.
So funny.
dig out my leather pants and high heel boots. So they actually commented on one of our very first episodes, and it took
Wait, what?
this. I know I kept forgetting about them.
They commented about us?
Well, yeah, they were like probably our first Coffee with Vic. They were like, "Hey guys, we do this." So I will reach out to them and see if we can't get an interview.
Absolutely have
I'm
them come
sorry.
on. I will support any biker doing anything.
And
How's that?
I would love to actually get out there and check that out next weekend.
Mhm.
Next
Next weekend?
It's the 29th.
August is almost
What
over?
day
Oh
is
my
it? I don't
God.
know.
I know.
It's
Holy
been a
cow.
quick month.
It has been a quick month.
Now we got to go back to school.
So getting back to school, when everything was normal, when life was normal and the world was normal,
I like that you think that the old normal was normal. Things
why?
have been weird my whole life. I don't know.
No, what I meant was people went where they had to
Well,
go.
sure, yeah, you
Yeah.
could do stuff. You didn't
And
have
every
to
year,
have one of these on your pocket all the time.
yeah, I don't have mine.
You're in trouble.
No,
How
I
are you
feel-
going to get out of the building?
Now I feel like a loser because
I
I
have a
don't have.
plastic bag you can put over your head.
Mine has kitties on it.
Yeah, she keep rocking in.
Jen, at least you
a
didn't say
serious mask.
paper bag.
Is that
I
a
don't
tissue?
feel so. No, it's a mask.
That's very.
It's
That's,
not as fancy as yours,
I'm gonna order you a big Porcelli mask.
but it's comfortable. Anyway, back when life was normal and kids actually went to school,
Mm-hmm.
every year we would try to time it when the most school systems went back to school, and we would play Andy Williams' "It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year," which of course is a Christmas song, but for parents it's a go back to school song, you know,
It's the
because
most wonderful time.
Yeah.
and over the intro it's like 6 or 7. I say, "Come on, parents, come on, sing it with me. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Love you, kids. Back to school. Get out of here.
Oh,
Get back to
God.
school." And I would go to whatever open house at the school or whatever after that. I can't tell you how many parents would come up to me and go, "Oh my God, it's the most wonderful time of the year." And now it's not
No.
because everything is virtual.
How does that work? Do you just leave the computer open and just tie the kids up to the couch? And
I don't
they-
know how a lot of parents are doing it because I couldn't imagine. I have teenagers, so
Right. How do you make them do anything?
they're no. So my okay. So I have good kids that do home. They actually like doing homework. I have kids that the lowest grade we've ever seen in our house is a B, and our kids feel bad because
Well, they should.
they know that it's because I was slacking on this test. I didn't study. It's all my kids are in advanced classes and stuff. So it's not a problem for me. My problem is going to be if I didn't have teenagers. to watch the little kids.
Right.
What would I do?
I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea. I can't imagine what these parents out there, or especially the single parents,
If they have to work?
Exactly.
Hence the problem right now.
What are you supposed to do?
I mean, I personally was left at home alone with my younger siblings from the age of 10 on.
Boy, that explains a lot. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But doesn't it? So we just kind of self-navigated. I mean, we didn't have to, like, educate ourselves as well. We just...
You got through life.
Yeah.
Eating, cooking, cleaning, making the bed, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
we would set up elaborate photo shoots with my brother dressed in bikinis and stuff.
That's what
fine.
my
Normal
kids.
kid stuff.
Just normal kid stuff.
Yeah. Every kid dresses up their brother.
We like to also dress the dog up. And the dog did not like this.
That's why dogs bite people.
It's people like you that has ruined good dogs.
Our miniature schnauzer was an ottoman, but we put her in a Minnie Mouse dress that my mom used to sew a lot, and so our Halloween costumes would all go into this awesome chest that we'd open up, and it would just be like, you can be anything you want.
Mm-hmm. It's the chest of treasured adventure.
Come here, puppy.
Right. I saw a video yesterday, actually, just yesterday, about, I guess it's called a costume, but you put it on a little dog, and the dog walks, and then
It makes it...
it looks like a tarantula.
Yes,
Like a giant tarantula.
Those are great.
And people run from this giant tarantula until the dog sits, oh, it's a dog!
Yeah,
Damn it.
Those are cute. I wanted to make Rex one last Halloween, but I didn't think that my effort would equal the amount of time that it was not destroyed.
I agree. Not to mention, wear one night?
Yeah, right. All those pipe cleaners just everywhere.
My wife and I spend a lot of time in pet stores, as you probably imagine.
Yes, looking at the fish.
And she had her hands on a Batman and Robin, Sweeney, I guess, would have been Batman, and Chino would have been Robin.
Oh, yeah.
And then a Superman thing for Phantom, because it was actually big enough to fit him. And that's why dogs bite people. I'm just explaining it to you now. That's why dogs bite people.
Rex has a Cowboys football jersey that he rocks out pretty hard.
What team?
Cowboys.
Oh, are you a Cowboys fan?
I like Cowboys.
Ah.
What is this foosball you speak of?
I like the Cowboys because I like the Cowboys. I don't like teams of football for their athletic ability. I like for their uniforms or their thematic. The Seahawks have a Seahawk.
I hate the objectification of men, by the way. Go ahead.
I used to really be on this tantrum that all football jersey pants should be kind of what's the right word? Assless?
Assless?
You know, chaps? I think that would raise the viewership.
For women?
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
let's get more skin here.
Yeah.
Cheerleaders are half naked. Why are the football players
I don't
fully
believe any
dressed?
cheerleaders' asses are actually out, but I agree. They're dressed less than the men are,
Right,
for sure.
I'm just saying.
Totally get it.
Give us a little something to work with here.
So, very quickly, just getting back on the homeschooling thing. And it's
Yes.
funny that my wife and I were just talking about this yesterday. There's a movie called Blast from the Past, which I recommend. It's a goofy, mindless movie, but it's awesome. Brendan Fraser, Alicia Silverstone,
Oh, God.
Christopher Walken, and Sissy Spacek.
Are you
Yes!
sure? Are you sure you're not talking about Encino Man?
I know what I'm talking about. So Christopher Walken and Sissy Spacek are the mom and dad, right? And it's 1961 or 2 or something like that.
Okay.
And he builds this bomb shelter in his basement that literally has enough food and supplies to last 30 years, right? So, because this was back in the Cold War, they're waiting for the Russians to bomb it, and then they're going to go down there. So a plane actually crashes into his front yard or into his house, and they're like, "Oh my God, everybody in the basement!" So they get in the basement, and then they lock the locks for 35 years.
And they come out, and Brandon Fraser's an adult.
Yes.
But he only knows 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. Well, right. He only knows 30 years ago, or what his parents have taught him. You know.
Oh.
And
Speaking of homeschooling,
right.
Yes.
that's the next level. That's
So he knows languages. He knows how to fight. He
Right.
knows how
He
to
can
do
open a can.
math. Right. Change a tire. He can do all these things that most kids can't do because he was homeschooled. But it's funny because Christopher Walken goes up first, and this kind of, and this movie was like 20 years ago or more, right?
Yeah, it was like the late 90s.
Yeah.
So this trans kind of person walks up to him and says, "Hey, baby," you know, and he goes, "Are you a man or a woman?" She goes, "Baby, I can be anything you want." You know, so he goes over there. He goes, "They can change genders." You know, he goes back into the basement, and they wear gas masks because there was some for some reason a guy had a hazmat suit on. Anyway, it's pretty funny. It's a good movie.
Not one time in 30 years did
he
they
was basically
keep
in
outside.
rave gear.
They can't. Everything was locked.
That's crazy.
The locks kept them in there.
Yeah, the gas mask. It was basically somebody was just like in rave gear, like coming from a
Oh
party.
yeah.
And he thought it was like, oh my gosh, there's all the radiation.
It's all the
still in
radiation,
the air,
right.
and
So
there's
so
mutants.
funny.
Like he was convinced everybody was mutants.
And
Bravers
somebody
have
was
always been-
no. This Christopher Walken went up first.
Yeah.
And then he went back down. Then he sent Brendan Fraser up to buy supplies and all that kind
That's
of
when we
stuff.
met Alicia Silverstone and Dave Foley.
Who's terrible? She's terrible. But it's fun.
She was really good in that one Aerosmith commercial where she gets her nipples pierced. Or something. What'd she do?
I don't know.
Jumped off a bridge.
But the surprises on this show are absolutely great. But the cool thing about that movie is that his name is Adam, and Alicia Silverstone's name is Eve.
What are the odds?
Yeah. And it's like, she's like, he was in a hotel room, and she's like, "What have you been doing all day?" He's like, "Watching TV in color." Because he didn't get to watch color TV while he was down there for 35 years. So watching something in color was like, wow, this is awesome.
Goodness.
Yeah. Back up. It's called Blast from the Past. Check it out. It's a pretty fun movie. It's mindless, but it's a lot of fun.
It's cute.
Next time.
So we were hoping to have a special guest on with us today, which didn't happen. And I don't know if that's going to happen or if we're going to do some sort of emergency show. Do you think that's going to happen?
An emergency show? That's the wrong word for it.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, this is just live feed on Facebook. We can stop and start literally whenever we want.
So we
We're
can.
really just
If it's not emergency, what's the word I'm
caught in
looking
the
for?
constructs of our own schedule that we make up on our own. Interested. Like when you say you're going to do something, though, you want to do it, right? You want to just go ahead and do it on time.
Yeah, it might have been my mistake. Maybe I just.
I don't know if Jim knows that today we are doing insanely early 9 o'clock hour.
Right. So
So if he does get here and he wants to chat,
we can just fire something up, right?
we can just fire it back up and go live.
Because he has some very, very, very important things to talk about concerning this show, this building, this company, these people.
Right. He is kind of taking a stance for small businesses, and we are in a private space that is cleaned thoroughly every day. This podcast studio, I wipe down and
Every day.
Every day. The headphones, you bring your own headphones with all the mics and everything, the tables. We have a guy that comes in, he does a great job cleaning. And there's really only 15 of us coming and going throughout the day. So we think we're in a bubble where the virus doesn't exist.
But also, you mentioned an important word, private.
And it's private.
I mean,
This is not a public
So-
space.
you can have 25 people in your home. And there's no mask required, there's no social distancing required for the social events. So that's kind of where that is we're under that 25 limit
Right.
in a much bigger space than the average person's home.
And to be a little less cryptic than we're being right now, the health department came and yelled at us, right? Did they yell at us?
I believe we were given some kind of citation because someone reported that people in here were not wearing masks.
I'm going to bet that person also was not wearing a mask.
That's true.
Correct. Never saw
it's
it.
a confusing situation.
It's a very confusing situation.
Um,
And Jim Shelby is our fearless leader, and I do not use hyperbole when I say fearless leader because he is absolutely being fearless when it comes to this whole situation. Do you agree?
He is fearless when it comes to all situations.
Well, there you go. So he's our fearless leader.
Yes.
Why do you laugh? Are you people on dope?
I just the idea of Jim as our leader is a kind of foreign.
All right,
to me.
so he's this fearless guy that we know.
He's a guy.
He's a
that
guy we know who happens to be
I'm
fearless.
still trying to talk him into having his 8-year-old son take a bigger part in the company because I really believe he has a lot to bring to the table.
Yep, lemonade for sure. Lots of lemonade.
All right, so
Is that
we're
iced
gonna-
tea? Lemonade, man. Read the sign.
It's my
All right.
all-time favorite commercial.
Isn't that great? That's another thing I want to do. Either on this show or on Porcelli's Deli, is everybody's favorite. Because do we all agree that auto insurance commercials are the best commercials on television?
They do seem to rise to the top.
Between Geico, Progressive, Liberty Mutual has some great commercials now. The desert never lies. Isn't that what I said? No, you were talking about
It would be
Allstate
nice if they would
insurance.
lower their rates and stop advertising so much.
Well, they're good at advertising. I didn't say they were good at insurance. That's where my responsibility in this conversation ends. So maybe one day we'll talk about just car and home bundle, top of the bundle to you.
Favorite commercial.
Favorite insurance commercials. All right. So anyway, what were you saying, Johnny? I rudely interrupted you.
Oh, well, I completely forgot.
I think we were just kind of saying goodbye.
We were wrapping up. Yeah, we're going to be talking with Quarantine Radio this weekend, so
Yep.
stay tuned for that on Porcelli's Deli at noon on Monday.
And decades apart.
Decades apart. You'll get
Since
to
they
be
know
there.
each other, maybe we can do that on the same day.
Well, that was my intention.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we can grab that interview this weekend.
Yeah.
Also this weekend, the dance studio, Galaxy Studios.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
visiting them?
Yes,
at
I
the
danced with the girls.
celebration?
Do you remember that?
I do.
How do you forget?
They are having a grand opening at their studio, and we may pop in there
Okay.
if you're available. I know some of our camera guys are going to check that out.
Okay.
So.
They were nice people.
They were
very
really nice. They've got an awesome thing going on in North County or North City, and so we want to continue to support them. And
Good activity for the kids too.
yeah, very
Physical fitness and fun.
teamwork, discipline,
Yes.
accountability, the
Accountability,
whole
right?
thing,
Just like
showmanship.
community theater.
So yeah, we can't wait till next week. Everyone have a great weekend.
Thank you so much for watching and listening to Coffee with Vic. Sorry, it was a little chaotic there in the beginning, but we really thought we were having a guest, and we came in completely unprepared. I thought we did a pretty good job for three people who are completely unprepared for the show.
That's kind of why I just stopped preparing for this one.
Yeah.
It's like the 2 hours, it's hard to get through, but 1 hour with you is just
Zip,
like
zip, zip.
zip, zip.
Zip, zip, zip. That's my middle name.
I never
Alright.
know what's going on.
Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks you two for being here.
Real men wear pink.
Real men wear pink.